Hello everyone, this is Simone and welcome back to a new video tutorial. This time we're going to have a look at the trapezoidal biofeedback. If you are not new, you know that this kind of tool is present also in OTBIOLAB Plus and has been implemented in the new OTBIOLAB 24. It will be available, of course, in the next release. So in order to use the trapezoidal biofeedback, we have to create a setup, which is something I already made. Here in my already created setup list, I have my SyncStation device, which is something I'm going to use today. And in the back panel, I have inserted a load cell. Also, I'm going to use a specific dynamometer called Core 2. This one, this little blue ball here. It is an end dynamometer, but it's just for demonstration purpose. You can use, of course, something else. Okay. So in order to show you the new tool, I have to start an acquisition. So let me select from the setup the SyncStation setup with the load cell, and I can start. So from the real time, you can, this is my track. Let me increase the scale, 5 seconds, and let me also auto scale. Okay, so this is my load cell. I'm keeping the dynamometer in my hand and pressing it. So in order to open the trapezoidal, you can select the track you want to use and click on this button here. Okay, this window appears. Let me increase it so we can have a better look at it. Okay, so there are two graphs. The right graph is just a bar, a vertical bar, while the graph in the middle will show you the path that you can follow. And so it moves in time if you start the protocol. If you know how to use it in the old software, basically it's the same. But in general, for new user, I want to show you every new text box and something you can change here from the left side. Okay, so starting from the top, we have the MVC, which is the maximum voluntary contraction. This is used because if you switch the graph from absolute to relative scale, the maximum value will be the maximum voluntary contraction that you have made. So let's start from scratch. Now 1 is the default value, but if I record, I'm pressing, okay, the timer starts, and for 5 seconds you can have a value here. As you can see, it's negative, probably because I have an offset to remove from the value here, which is something I forgot to do, so let me do it right now. Okay, so this offset is removed. Let me do it again. Okay, as you can see, this is the best I can do. And now if we go to relative scale, this value is used as the maximum value of the graph. So right now, if I press my dynamometer, as you can see, I'm using two hands to go over, but okay. Then what let me go back to absolute. So what do we have? Here we have the force. So you can remove the offset. You can select the absolute value in order to, just in case you have something to, dynamometer can be pressed or stretched, so depending on that you can have a positive value or negative value. So just in case if you want to have to calculate the absolute value, you can just click on this and the software will automatically switch the sign in case it's negative. Then we have the scale factor, which is something really important if you want to convert the data from volt to kilogram, for example. What value do we want to insert here? This depends on the dynamometer you're using. In general, the formula you want to use is this formula here. Okay, this is how to calculate the scale factor. Oh, sorry. it's made by multiplying for 1000 the load cell full scale, okay, and then divide by the load cell sensitivity, the load cell supply, and the amplifier gain. Perfect. So what do we have here? We have two graphs, okay. The right side graph is just a vertical bar, while the graph in the middle is used to make your subject follow the path. On the left side, instead, you have different kind of information and parameters you can change. If you are not new, if you know how to use it in the old software, basically it's the same, but just to let everyone know how to use the trapezoid, I'm gonna explain every information and parameters that is present here. So let's start from the top. We have the MVC, which is the maximum voluntary contraction. So basically, you can insert the value or you can record the value. So you can ask your subject to make the best that he can do, and while he's pushing, you can record the value. This value will be used as the maximum value of the graph when you switch from absolute to relative scale. So let me give you an example. Right now, as you can see, my load cell have some negative offset, so I'm gonna remove it from here. Okay. Now you can decide the amount of seconds you want to record. The default is 5, which is fine. So let me try my best for 5 seconds with my hand. Okay. So this is the maximum voluntary contraction value, which is still in volt, but I'll show you how to convert it to kilogram in a moment. And if you switch to relative, this value here is the maximum of the graph. So if I press, as you can see, I can go up to the maximum. I'm doing my best. Probably I'm a little tired, so I cannot really touch the top line. But anyway, I think you understand this. So let me switch back to absolute. What else? We have the force here and a scale factor. Why the scale factor? Because you might want to convert the data to kilograms. How to do that? Well, in general, you need some information from your load cell, and you need to use this formula here. So to calculate the scale factor, you have to use this formula, which is based on the load cell full scale, the sensitivity, and the power supply. Also, if you have like a gain from another amplifier, like if you're using our Forza, for example, you need to insert this value here. In my case, my sync station have gain 1 because it's the dynamometer is connected directly to the load cell connector on the back panel. But anyway, for demonstration purpose, I can insert just I don't know, some example value here, like 2000, and that's fine. Let me try. Okay. What else? You can calculate the absolute value if you need to. For example, if you push or if you stretch your dynamometer, you can have positive or negative change in the amplitude. And then we have the graph part. Here is where you can switch between absolute and relative scale. You can change the y-axis scale. So if you want to go, for example, from minus 10 to, I don't know, 50, for example, you can adjust the scale of the graph. You can increase or decrease the time window on the x-axis, and you can also insert target error. Okay, it's not really clear right now because, okay, better, as you can see. This is used if you want your subject to stay between these two lines here, instead of giving him just a line as a reference. Okay, so as you can see, when you switch to relative scale, two different buttons appear on the bottom part. These are used to move your graph in time and make your subject follow the path. Okay, so I made a mess right now because I have inserted the scale factor after recording the MVC. So let me just fix the graph. We switch back to the absolute scale. Now that we have the scale factor inserted, I can record again the MVC. Okay, so as you can see now I have the value adjusted by the scale factor, and now we can go back to relative scale. Okay, perfect. So what else? Now we have to specify the path for the subject to follow. So how to do that? Here from the button, we can open a new window. So clicking it, we can open this window here. In the middle, you can see the path specified by a couple of points here. How to create a new one? Well, actually you can import or export if you want to give your path to someone else or receive it from another researcher, for example, or if you want to save it externally, why not? All the paths that are saved inside OTBIOLAB are stored on a folder, which is this one. In my case, I have 3 paths saved as txt file format. You can just go inside and see what's the point for that specific path. In general, here from the list, you can see the path that I have already made. So I have this one here. Oh, sorry. You can also zoom in and out of the graph. You can, as you can see, I have 3 of them. But in general, you can create a brand new one. In my case, I want to use this button here to create a default path, as you can see. And of course, you can also modify both of the coordinates. Like, for example, like this. You can also swap 2 points. So, for example, you can click, drag and drop, and you will swap the y value here, and the time value on the x-axis will remain the same. So you're just swapping between the two y value. Okay. Well, if you want to add new points, you can add or append. What's the difference? If you add, you have to specify the exact point position. So, for example, I am at 21.0, like my final point is there, so I want to add a new point, this location here, for example. And if you append instead, the value that you specify here will be added to your last point coordinates. So in this case, I want to append starting from here, and so I will add a new point at position 26, value 13, like this. Okay. You can also insert some sinusoid by specifying in time in second, oscillation, and amplitude. Right now it is a little chunky because, as you can see, the points are quite big in respect to the line. So you will have some sort of a lot of points because they are interpolated in order to create a sinusoid. But in the future, we are going to add a parameter to reduce or increase the thickness of these points. Well, you can save the path by clicking here and it will be added to the list. If we go here, we have our path. I want to use no, like this one I already made. If you select it and you click back it will be inserted here in the graph. So what do we have to do right now? Well, quite simple. We have everything set in here. We are already in relative scale, so we can just start the protocol and okay, trying to follow the path. As you can see, the blue dot is creating a path. I'm not really good at doing this, but anyway, I'm gonna try those two impulses. Okay. Well, actually, the protocol, when it reached the end, it starts back from the beginning. If you want to stop, you can click again on this button. It will just freeze wherever it is. If you want to reset, you can just click on the other buttons here and it go back to the original position. Well, that's it. There are a couple of things, additional things I want to show you, which is the fact that you can have multiple channels here, and you can hide them if you want, and also that you can use the trapezoidal on a EMG track. So let me stop everything and create a new setup. Okay, so let me quickly create a new setup. I want to have some EMG tracks. So I have no movie device connected, so we're gonna have like flat channels, but it's just for demonstration. We're not going to have real signal anyway. So let me insert this grid here, and also I want to add a movie plus maybe in this position here with this grid. Okay, that's fine. Let's go back to our real-time plotter window. We have our setup. We can start. Okay, so I want to use an EMG track as force. So I select my group track here, and when I click on the trapezoidal path button, the software asks me if I want to calculate the mean of all the values in all of the tracks, or if I prefer to calculate the differential between two specific channels and use it as a force. Now I want to show you that you can have multiple tracks in a single trapezoidal. If you select many of them, like in this case, and click on the trapezoidal, the software asks me what I want to do with the two group track I have. Let me confirm I want the mean for both of them, and as you can see here now you have all of them in the graph. Okay, of course you are forced to follow the same path, but if you prefer to have a different graph and a different path for each one of them, you need to open them separately. To do that, we just select the first and open. We select the second and open again. And also the last one. So now you have three different and separate trapezoidal. Be sure your computer is not struggling too much, like in my case. Otherwise, it's quite consuming. Okay, this is all for now. Feel free to share your thoughts and your opinion, and see you soon into another video.